Hello everybody, Mr. Lego Lover 55 here, and today we're going to be looking at some more custom Ninjago figures. Now you guys really seem to like the last video I did on this. I mean, like, really liked it. Seriously, again guys, thank you so much for the support on that video. But if you guys like that video, I kind of figured, hey, there's more where that came from. Because in this box here, I have pretty much my entire collection of custom Lego Ninjago minifigures. So strap in, y'all. This is probably gonna be a long video. So grab your snacks, grab your drinks, get comfy, because we're about to go through my entire year's worth collection of Ninjago custom minifigures. Now, I've got quite a variety of different kinds of custom minifigures here, and most of them can be put into separate categories. For starters, you have the purist customs, which use basically officially released and printed Lego parts that Lego themselves have made. Number two, you have your typical custom minifigures with pad and UV printing on official minifigure parts. And the third category consists of the types of customs we took a look at in the last video. Also known as third-party figures, also known as sort of maybe kind of bootlegs, but don't tell anybody. I was kind of thinking about going about this like one category at a time, but honestly, I'm just gonna kind of do them as I feel fit. I'm actually gonna start in this this corner here with actually some of my first ever custom Ninjago minifigures I ever got. First off here, we have an Apartment Garmadon from Crystalized. This is a figure with custom UV printing on official Lego parts, and hopefully by the end of this video you'll all understand the difference between pad printing and UV printing. UV printing typically has a sort of texture to it when you rub your finger across it. It feels a lot more layered or plastered on to the official parts, whereas pad printing is gonna feel more akin to Lego's style of printing, because that's the exact kind of printing that Lego themselves actually uses. But no, this is a really cool figure to have. This one's got two different expressions. You've got one that's kind of cheerful, and then the other's a little bit more neutral, maybe leaning a bit into concerned, but we don't really get a whole lot of different Garmadon expressions. So yeah, you know, customs are a great way, as I mentioned in the last video, to get different expressions for various different characters. And then here we have King Vangelis, also known as the Skull Sorcerer from Season 13, Master of the Mountain. This is his sort of royal robe king attire. This is, once again, a figure we never officially got from Lego. And similar to Garmadon, he does have an alternate face, although the version I got is a little bit scuffed. You can kind of see it's a little bit fuzzy, especially compared to the first face print. But I got both of these figures originally from, I believe, Ninjago prints. They're not super active right now. They specialize in a lot of UV and 3D printing of various Ninjago characters and items, and we'll be seeing a lot more of their work later in the video here. I feel like I should also mention that this video is not sponsored in any way. I've purchased all of these myself with my own money, and this is just my collection that I've accumulated throughout the years. That being said, if there's anybody's products here I do end up covering, you know, emails are open. And otherwise, if you're just a regular viewer, if you want to support the channel, you know, consider subscribing, or hitting the like button, or, you know, leaving a comment. Or if you want to go a little bit further, you know, consider checking out the Crossroads Discord server. Whether you're an established Ninjago creator or just starting out, you know, great place to meet and collaborate with other Ninjago creators of all sorts. Okay, that's it. I'm done plugging. Back to the video. This here is an Administration J. This is actually my most recent custom minifigs order. I got this guy shortly after the last customs video. This figure was made and produced by Little Bear. They've got probably some of my favorite customs out there right now, primarily because they are one of the few that are actually pad printing on official Lego parts, meaning this is essentially as close as you can get to the official look of a Lego minifigure. He uses official Lego parts. He's got two facial expressions. One is this kind of annoyed expression that's basically just ripped straight out of the show from the first season of Dragons Rising, and the other is a little bit more of a skeptical look. I will say the version that I got actually came with a rogue hairpiece. This is my little brick that I keep all my spare hair pieces in. Yeah, look at that. We got it right here. So he originally came like this with the Unigami ponytail hairpiece, which is really cool to get, and especially this version as well, because this is actually injection molded. It's not 3D printed. It's not a painted over version of the official part. It's essentially a pretty much perfect injection molded recreation of the original hairpiece. I think the only part that is painted on is that sort of dark blue on the headband. To be fair, I don't think customs have quite reached the level of dual molding just yet, but hopefully someday. Of course, this hairpiece looks amazing on the Rogue figure as well. I'll throw in some B-roll of that. I gotta clean all this up now. Now let's actually go ahead and take a look at some of these guys here. Now, these are the cloaked versions of the Forbidden 5. And, well, you can see there's 10 of them here, and that's because there have actually been 2 different kinds going around. I purchased both of these sets off of EM Minifigs, the same site that I mentioned in the last video. This first set here is pretty much what you would expect from these kinds of figures. I will say I actually did replace most of the parts on these guys with official Lego parts, so the torso, legs, and heads, and some of the hats are pretty much all official Lego. This cloak piece is actually 2 separate pieces here. But yeah, of course, you've got Noct, you've got Zart, you got Drix, and then you have Rox and Kerr, which basically are the exact same. So when you order them, you kind of just have to order 2 of the exact same one to have all 5. I think Zark's might have to be my favorite because you actually get an accurate hat piece for him, because the one you get in the sets is pretty cool, admittedly, but this custom does have the more accurate one. So if you wanted to make your official Zark a little bit more accurate, you can just replace that hat piece with the custom version. And I don't know, I always thought this looked a little bit weird. Maybe it's the way the custom was made. So honestly, I kind of just tend to use the official one and then just keep this custom one on the cloaked version, since I think that definitely looks the coolest. But then this second set here is quite different, primarily because the articulation on these guys is surprisingly large. The arms are connected via these like really tiny like mini ball joints, so you can kind of spread them out a little bit, which is a bit weird, to be honest. I'm not used to minifigures being able to do that, but it is honestly kind of cool, and you're able to get a lot more cool poses out of them. You can also see that these guys have like these red eyes, and I'm pretty sure these are supposed to be like glow in the dark or something. I haven't actually tested it, so I don't know if it really works, but they also have a bunch of uniquely molded hats. Nox here is kind of angled upwards. Same with Drix's, except Drix's is also way bigger than the official mold. And I suppose that's technically more accurate, but honestly, I don't really like how this looks. It just feels way too big. And even putting it on the official figure, it just doesn't seem quite right. It feels a little bit too big. Like, I know his hat's big in the series, but I don't think it was this large. Zark's hat, I think, is definitely my favorite here. This one honestly does feel a lot more polished than the other version we looked at here, and putting it on the official Zark figure, I actually like this a lot more. It feels a little bit more refined. You can actually kind of see some of the face print through it. So if you are looking to replace the hat on your guys' official Zark, definitely get the version with extra posable arms, because I believe that is the one that comes with this much cooler hat piece. And I know there's a name for this thing. I swear there is. I've totally forgotten it though. I'll have to look that up at some point. Editor me can maybe throw that in, or someone can correct me in the comments. I suppose while we're on the Forbidden 5 bandwagon, may as well take a look at some of the Spectral Forbidden 5. And now this kind of starts to get into some weird territory when it comes to the custom Ninjago minifigure market. Now, I know these are available on EM Minifigs. However, I actually got these from somewhere else. On Instagram, there's actually somebody who's making a lot of these third-party minifigures that we've already taken a look at, and now he actually has his own store separate from EM Minifigs. But it's unfortunately one of those sites that's kind of difficult to order from in the US. You have to go through this like weird sort of indirect process to actually purchase from them. Essentially, you have to order them from a sort of warehouse warehouse site where the warehouse site will order them from his site, and then this guy will ship the figures to the warehouse site, and then the warehouse site will ship them to you. It's really weird and complicated, and I'm barely managing to actually work it myself. Meaning, if I get any comments asking on how do I order directly from him, like, bro, I don't know. I got lucky. I've gotten lucky. But essentially, the warehouse site I'm using is like called Superbuy, and he has, I think, pretty much all of his products listed on his sort of store page on that site, which is pretty much how I order directly from him. Though, again, it's a super weird and kind of complicated process, so I wouldn't really recommend ordering directly, especially since most of the figures he tends to put up will eventually come to EM Minifigs, or even other sites, because at least from what I know, it seems like he does kind of encourage the reselling of his products. But I don't know. It's a weird rabbit hole that I'm not gonna really delve into any further than what I've already explained. But anyways, Spectral Forbidden 5. These guys are really cool. Because I ordered directly from, I believe his name is Guwang297, I ended up getting these 3D printed flutes, which are supposed to be the ones they sort of play in Season 3 of Dragon's Rising to collect all of these souls. But honestly, I do think these flutes add a lot to these figures. They would honestly feel kind of incomplete without them. Although I will say they do feel a bit fragile, so I try to be as careful as I can with them. But yeah, anyways, you got Drix, you got Rox, you got Kerr, probably one of my favorites, just because of the transparent arm. I think that's really cool. Plus the arm printing on that. I mean, Kerr's like base minifigures, honestly, just really cool, to be fair. We got Zarked and we got Noct. Kerr actually has some unique spectral printing on both her torso and legs, of course. For pretty much all of them though, except for Zarked, I have replaced their hats with the official Lego variant. Thankfully, most of these were pretty much available on Pick-a-Brick, especially the hats for Rox and Kerr. But yeah, no, overall, these are really cool figures. The transparent elements add so much, and it is kind of a shame we never really got these guys officially in the sets. And I suppose we may as well sort of leapfrog here. Just on the subject of Guwang, I may as well take a look at some other products I have ordered directly from him. And I'm just realizing now how extensive the list of stuff I've ordered from him actually is. Yeah, I might need to chill a little bit. Now, I think one of my absolute favorite customs from this guy has to be this NRG Nya figure. We got an NRG Nya in the Seabound sets. However, that one, of course, had to abide by official Lego, minifigure making protocols and all that. It's one of the reasons we don't have fully transparent minifigures. However, Ninjago custom minifigure creators have to follow no such rules and can do whatever they want, I guess. And that allows us to get beautiful custom minifigures like this NRG Nya here, fully transparent, pad printed, and a completely unique and accurate injection molded hairpiece. Honestly, I don't even normally keep this in the customs box here. I kind of just put it in there for the sake of this video. I normally keep this one on my desk because it is just that good of a figure. I want to have it near me at all times, man. It is so good. This is one of my favorites. She gets 2 different face prints as well, which is really cool. Easily one of my favorite Ninjago customs of all time. You can see here we also have some of the original Elemental Masters from the Elemental Alliance that we were introduced to in Season 4 flashbacks. I know we've gotten most of these guys officially in the 15-year anniversary sets. However, we haven't gotten all of them, like this Master of Sound here. He's actually got printing on the back of the legs, which is really weird. It's not something I'm really a huge fan of. I know some like Star Wars customs do this as well. A lot of custom minifigure creators end up doing this, and it doesn't look quite right. We've got this Master of Shadow here. We're of course getting an official one in the summer with that X1 Ninja Charger, which I have certain thoughts on that I won't really delve into here. However, the figure in that set doesn't really have the accurate hairpiece, whereas this one here does. The hairpiece she has is actually a 3D print, so it's a bit more of a hard plastic as opposed to the rubber that the official part originally was. But either way, still really cool figure to have. Got a more show accurate Master of Earth here. Honestly, much prefer the new version that's in the sets, primarily because of all of the metallic printing, but this one's still pretty nice to have just for accuracy's sake, I guess. Got the old Master of Gravity here with that unique helmet mold that I think was introduced originally on like a CMF, I want to say. So another really cool figure to have, and he also does get an alternate facial expression. And then we've also got the Elemental Master of Form Leo here. We finally know his name and elemental power thanks to Strike of the Serpentine. Honestly, probably one of my favorite characters from that graphic novel. And this particular custom is actually really cool because he is almost entirely official Lego parts. So if you look closely at the head, it's kind of hard to see here, but it's got the official Lego logo in there, Lego logo on the top of the torso, and Lego logo on the legs. And these are honestly really cool because the legs they chose to print on are actually dual molded. And I'm pretty sure the hairpiece might actually be painted over. I didn't even realize at first, because if you look underneath, it's actually a little bit yellow, implying that it was probably spray painted over. And honestly, they did a really good job because honestly, I couldn't even tell this was like painted over at first. So yeah, no, really cool figure to have. And then this is another recent one I actually got. This is General Arcturus. He's got some really cool gold detailing. It's kind of using that drum lacquered gold on the arms as well as the armor piece, which also has some red printing on there as well, which is really cool. Honestly though, my favorite part about him has to be the head. It's got like printing from the top that goes all the way down the back of the neck there. And the only other two Anacondrai we've gotten, I don't believe did this at all. So this is honestly really cool to see. From the looks of it though, it seems like the tail piece might just straight up be Pythor's tail from season 1. So honestly, if I could manage to get like a spare of this, I might just swap that out. And then we've also got Anacondrai Chen and Garmadon. These are, I know, figures people have been wanting for a while, and it's cool that they exist, at least in some form. I know I did want to swap out the hat piece on this at some point because the original hat piece is dual molded, whereas this one, the tan detailing is just painted on. And I much prefer the dual molded piece. This is also more of a hard plastic, whereas the purple on that was more rubberized. Oh yeah, and this one's pretty cool because it actually, you do get two facial expressions as well. And I think it's the same with Garmadon here, yeah. Although to be honest, the second one does look a little bit more scuffed. I did also replace the hairpiece on this one just for an official one because I believe he originally came with like a silver version of the hair, which just doesn't really work. So I swapped it out for an official dark gray one instead. And I will say the printing on this compared to the original is definitely a little bit off. The green is much brighter. The gold looks a lot less metallic. So not a perfect figure, but honestly just still a really cool one to even get at all. We've also got a third-party Neuro here as well. Like I mentioned in the last video, customs are a great way to get figures we've never officially gotten. However, they're also a great way to get figures we have gotten for significantly lower prices. Because Neuro here is one of those figures that is infamously expensive thanks to being in the exclusive Bricktober pack. Again, it's not official Lego parts, but the printing is basically spot on. I think the only major flaw is like the printing on the hair. There's like a little bit of weird like scuffing on the side there. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, no, otherwise pretty cool figure to get, especially if you don't have Neuro already. And this is a really cool figure to get. This is an all metal Karlof. This is something only customs can do, because even if we did get this figure, you know, officially from Lego, it's not going to be in this drum lacquered silver. It's probably going to be in just like the standard titanium metallic color. But yeah, no, this one is really cool to get. Just completely metallic figure. The helmet, the armor, the torso, legs, arms, the head, the gloves, it's all metallic silver. And yeah, no, they look really cool side by side next to each other. Genuinely really cool figure. I'd say the only way they could have made this more perfect is if they somehow removed the clip part from the front of the helmet to make it more accurate to the show. And then we've also got all of the newer Elemental Masters from Dragon's Rising Season 2. I kind of briefly showcased these guys in the last video, specifically with Obscuria here because I needed her hairpiece for another custom. But in terms of other Elemental Masters that are available, we've got my boy Frack. We really do need more Frack figures from Lego, man. I don't know what they're doing. The last one we got was a little less than subpar. So it's cool we got this variant of him at least. We've also got, I believe, the Master of, I want to say, Figment. He's got some nice arm printing, and that's something you might notice a lot with these guys, is that a lot of these customs, they will use arm and side leg printing whenever they want. And you've also got this custom molded hat as well, which it's a bit of a tight fit, but it looks really cool. We've got the new Merlopian Master of Sound here. Again, got some arm printing for like the wrists there. And this one also has printing on the back of the legs. Again, I think that looks a little bit weird. I just kind of prefer they just don't do that. And then you've of course got that Merlopian head sculpt as well being used here in a different color than the one we officially got. And unfortunately, this one is a little bit of a tight fit than other heads we usually get for these guys. I think that's partially because this head mold is painted over completely. We've also got Geo here. If Lego were to ever make this figure, honestly, probably never gonna do it in this outfit of his, just because I don't realistically see how it would be feasible considering the ears and then the hairpiece combined. This actually does a really clever thing where it kind of attaches the ears at the back through the a little spot in the back of the hairpiece. But yeah, you can kind of see it sort of works like that, where it kind of just fits into like a little bit of a slot in the back of the hairpiece there, which is really, really clever. Definitely not something Lego would do, but again, that's just kind of the running theme with these guys. Honestly, such a really cool figure to get. My only problem with this guy is if you turn him around to the back, it looks a little bit weird. I think this is definitely one of those figures that needed like the dual molded legs and the side leg printing, because just from the back, it does not look great. I think he, at the very least, needed like a different colored hip piece. They just chose to use the lavender one. So I don't know, as long as you don't look at him from the back, honestly, pretty perfect figure. Unfortunately though, I believe Zur also has the same problem. If you turn him around to the back, it's just, yeah, it just doesn't look right. He really needed that hip piece to be like, at the very least, in like gunmetal gray or something. But otherwise, again, this is another like really like perfect figure. I have this guy's awesome. The head sculpt is really cool. The armor piece is sick. And again, he's using some arm printing as well. And then we also have Xantans, and he was quite an interesting figure to put together. He has a lot of like small little parts that I wasn't really quite sure how to put together at first, but you know, I figured it out. Once you get a read on like the parts and stuff and the actual like look and what everything's supposed to be, it's not too hard. But yeah, no, another really cool figure. Unfortunately, he does have issues standing up on his own, considering the massive snail shell on his back, but otherwise really cool figure. He's got, again, arm printing for those like golden like wrist bracelets. The way the shoulder pad's attached is honestly really clever. They kind of attach to the back of the shell there, you can kind of see. The head is once again sort of a painted over part, so it does look a little bit off, and that's actually the same deal with Frack here, kind of going back to him. You can kind of see some of that orange is scraping off a little bit, and that's like my main issue with the figure. Again, it's kind of unfortunate. Most of these figures just don't have the same level of access to dual molding as Lego does. Otherwise, a lot of these guys I think would be pretty much perfect. And then there's also this random little water tide here. This is Kizzy, the Master of Balance, and it's a cool mold. It's a singular mold. It doesn't move at all. There's no articulation with the arms or legs or anything. I'm pretty sure the studs at the bottom of the feet are kind of a tight fit. Yeah, it's a little bit tight, so not like the best. Kind of just a cool random figure to have though. And then lastly, kind of just summing up this section of figures, we've got Oni Mystake. Now, we actually did get an Oni Mystake this year in the Build a Minifig. I actually have her right here for comparison. However, the one we got reuses the Legacy Garmadon torso and just some plain black legs, which isn't the most accurate. Don't get me wrong, it's cool to get this figure, but it's missing the unique horn mold and just the actual like printing on the torso and legs. This one kind of amends that. This is pretty much an accurate one-to-one recreation of the character we see in the show, even including that unique horn piece. And similar to the Master of Shadow, I believe this is actually 3D printed as well. It's honestly really hard to tell from afar because the printing layers are so like so small. Can really only tell if you look up closely or if you kind of rub your nail across the sides and top of it. And I suppose just to like kind of finish up some of the Serpentine War type figures, we've got Serpentine War, Ray, and Maya, as well as Young, Garmadon, and Wu. Now these are pretty much all figures we've gotten in recent sets, so not the most interesting anymore, to be honest. Although this Maya does have that more accurate face print with the cheekbones, something neither version of Maya that we've officially gotten have received. And then this Ray actually does come with some arm printing, although I will be honest, I kind of prefer the official one as opposed to this one. The official has silver arms, and this one, they just print the arm detailing on just regular plain light gray arms. And funnily enough, they actually just copy and paste the front torso print onto the back. Although to be fair, it might be like that in the show as well. I can't remember. And then Wu just uses a very standard generic face, but honestly, this guy can just be built basically using official parts, so I kind of don't really care too much for him. But let's take a break from some of these, you know, custom printed and custom, you know, third-party figures, and let's take a look at some purist customs I've actually put together here. First of all, we've got Sally here. She, I believe, was one of the first purist customs I ended up making. To be fair, she was one of the easiest, I think. She mostly just reuses a bunch of standard Lego City parts. She has this face print, which I think really kind of encapsulates the character in Crystalized, just kind of having a little bit of a worried expression, almost on the verge of crying. We were talking about Young Wu earlier, and funnily enough, I forgot I actually did make a custom of him. I believe this one uses the legacy robes as opposed to the torso and legs that we get from the 2011 Wu figure, and that is primarily because I have not been able to get my hands on those parts just yet. But similar to the bootleg figure, he uses that same hairpiece, just official Lego, as well as that super generic face print that I totally have never used for my sig fig before, ever. And then these two I actually made well before the last video came out. We've got Lloyd and Wyldfyre in their Land of Lee outfits. And honestly, I'm kind of thinking of just scrapping these two for parts because I don't really need them, to be honest. Well, because last video we got more accurate Land of Lee outfits for the 4 Ninja that went there. Lloyd's torso here is actually the exact same print that's used in the season. The only issue is that the torso and arms are the wrong color. Otherwise, this would be like basically a perfect purist custom. We've got a young Harumi here. Honestly, I'm pretty sure I found this like combination of parts from like somewhere online. I do not remember where. Some recent ones I've been working on. We've got a season 1 Ed and Edna here. I've kind of gotten as close as I can with Ed. The exact torso and leg print doesn't really exist, so I'm kind of just using this for the time being. Edna, though, is pretty close. Apart from like the leg printing she has, I think the only thing I really need to touch up on her is just the hairpiece. I just need to get this same hairpiece just in dark tan, I believe. Otherwise, yeah, no, pretty happy with how these guys have turned out. Then we've got a side character from season 11. This is Jake. Probably one of the most accurate purist customs you can really get. Because to be fair, in the show, this is pretty much his entire look. We've got that exact same hairpiece. He just reuses the season 11 Kai torso just with short sleeves. I kind of stole those off of my Bart Simpson minifigure. Look, he didn't need the arms, it's fine. And then the face print, I'm pretty sure was used from like a CMF, but it's a great face print, and it kind of fits like the Wild Brain like kid design, to be honest. And then we've also got a Kid Garmadon here. He's just reusing that Lloyd face print, as well as the season 1 Sensei Wu torso. I plan to pretty much do the same thing for Kid Wu once I can get another one of these torsos. We've also got a casual Nelson here with the mid legs. I'm kind of just starting to rapid fire these because again, we got a lot of figures, and there's not really a whole lot I have to say about a lot of these purist customs. This is another random little one. This is kind of just a generic Imperium Kid using reusing the Build-A-Minifig parts. Again, super happy they introduced this torso piece in Build-A-Minifig. It just makes it easy to build up Imperium citizens like this. Although, unfortunately, it is technically just the Kid torso. I was honestly kind of hoping we would get like the just standard civilian torso that some of the like teens and adults actually use, like Sora's parents or Percival. And on the subject of Imperium, we've got not Empress Beatrix, guys. This is Zeatrix. And as you can see, this did require a little bit of parts modding, I guess. I just took the standard Empress Beatrix minifigure and just cut those shoulder pads right off. I know, a crime against humanity for all of Imperium. But really just helps round out the Elemental Masters collection for Dragon's Rising, at least. And then another custom I actually just put together recently. We've got a Advanced Systems Lab Jordana. This is just reusing that same lab coat that we got with the Dr. LaRoe figure from Ninjago City Workshops. Just now it has Jordana's hair and face slapped on top of it. It is unfortunate we're probably never gonna get that original hairpiece in dark red that she uses in season 1, but you know, I guess this'll do. Okay, and then some of my favorite purist customs here. We've got the Administration Agents. Now, the 15th anniversary Old Town set introduced this Administration Agent you see here, and it uses a combination of just basically reused Lego City parts. However, Lego was not the first person to do this. It was me, guys. I have a tweet or a Blue Sky post or whatever dating all the way back to whatever it says on screen right now. You can find it, you can fact check. I came up with this design first, guys. So I've had these guys for a while. I made a Hydro Whipper agent. We've got this agent here with the crazy Benthamar Joker hair, thanks to Pigabrick for actually making that easy to acquire. Got this guy, which I'm pretty sure was an actual hairpiece used on one of the agents. We've got this agent here, which is eerily similar to the one that Lego released. I'm just saying, guys, I don't know, maybe Lego took some notes. Of course, we have that Administration Agent that I made in the last video as well. But I think my favorite has to be this Administration Ninjroid agent here. But I don't know, cool thing about these guys is that you can pretty much just make as many Administration Agents as you want just from pieces on Pick-a-Brick right now. At least like standard human Administration Agents. But yeah, no, as a whole, I really love these guys. I love the Administration as a story concept. I love how they execute it in the show. It's so weird, so like sci-fi-ish. I don't know, I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. So it's cool to just have these kinds of figures, I guess, in my custom Ninjago minifigure collection. Ish, man, we're starting to run out of room. I'm gonna have to, hang on, I'm gonna have to move this back a little bit. Now, we've taken a look at a lot of really cool customs so far. However, not every custom I've gotten has been amazing. I tend to usually only get the ones that I know I'm going to like and that I know will be like somewhat good quality. And that's kind of what I was hoping for this next batch of figures. However, unfortunately, I was severely disappointed, and it was specifically with these four right here. Now, these are the masked variants of the Sons of Garmadon at the opening of Season 8, and while it's cool to have these in theory, the quality on these is very, very noticeably different from the rest of the figures we've taken a look at so far. Let's just take a look at this this blue one here, just for a second. And if you flip up the helmet here, oh wow, yeah, that does not look right. Yeah, no, generally when I think of bootleg Lego figures, these are honestly what I would think of. The quality on these is just genuinely like really bad. And again, I got these off of EM Minifigs. And I'm pretty sure I said this last video, but not everything on that site is going to be a banger, unfortunately. Again, the site sells a multitude of different bootleg figures, each of them varying in quality. Most of the time, the good ones are pretty easy to spot. Usually, if the listing photo is like an actual photo of the figure, that's a pretty good sign. For these guys, however, the listing photo was a render, and that's usually not a good sign. Thankfully, those are like the only like bad purchases I've really made when it comes to custom Ninjago figures. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's in this back section here. It's a lot of different variants of the Ninja. So I guess starting off here, we've got this Blacksmith Kai, which is a little bit more accurate to how he appears in in the pilot. We did just get a Blacksmith Kai. I took a look at him in the Blacksmith set review, if you guys want to check that out. I will say I do prefer the official version more than this, even though I do think this is a little bit more accurate. The colors on the apron are just kind of too bright. Again, this figure doesn't really take the same printing guidelines that Lego uses, so it just looks a little bit off. Honestly, kind of same with the face print. It feels a little bit too big, like bigger than it should be. Same thing kind of goes for the alternate face print as well. It just looks a little bit off. Just kind of leans into that uncanny valley, to be honest. And then we've got some of the Pajama Ninja. Now, I will say these are printed on third-party parts. All of these ones we're taking a look at here. However, from what I understand, I believe the designs for these were kind of taken from Super Brick Figs. They originally UV printed the designs onto official Lego parts, whereas these ones are pad printed onto third-party parts. So honestly, a bit unfortunate that that happened. I don't know if there was a level of consent to the designs being used on these guys. I'd imagine not. So even though these are cheaper than the ones that Super Brick Figs does have listed, it is a bit of a shame to know that these are just kind of made from stolen designs. As cool as it is to have like a cheap alternative. I hadn't realized that when I purchased these guys, but if you guys want to actually support the original print designer, definitely go check out Super Brick Figs, because I think we're also taking a look at some of their products in this video as well. And then I think the same thing also applies to these casual ninja as well. But stolen designs aside, these are honestly really cool to get. Honestly, kind of a shame we don't get pajamas for the ninja in the show anymore. I get it's probably a budget thing, but man, it would be so cool. Like, bro, why is Pixel freaking sleeping with her armor on? Why is Lloyd sleeping in that uncomfortable like mech pilot suit, man? At least it makes sense kind of with Aaron. It's like, some people wear their hoodies to bed, but like, come on, these ninja suits are like probably like really uncomfortable to sleep in. Just give the ninjas some pajamas, man. They deserve it. You can see they also have like a toe printing at the front here as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't carry over to the side, so it looks a little bit odd, but then it also carries over to the back, which also looks a bit odd. So honestly, I would have preferred if they just printed it on the front at this point, or just not even included the toe printing at all, to be honest. Because no matter what way you look at it, it seems a little bit weird. It just does not look quite right. And on most of these figures, I actually have replaced the head and hair pieces with official Lego parts. I know Jay and Cole definitely needed it the most because their hair pieces, I'm pretty sure, were some of the ones that looked the worst. As we saw in the last video, they looked super scuffed with those figures. I'm pretty sure it was the same for these guys when I got them. And I think that applied to the casual ninja as well. The stolen design thing as well also kind of applies to the casual ninja, which is a bit unfortunate. Although I think the original designs were from Brickalypse, I want to say. I don't think I've personally gotten anything from them before, but if you want to support them, definitely go check them out as well. But yeah, no, these are really cool to get as well. I know some of these designs have been like officially made on actual Lego parts, just they're not in the right colors. We got pretty close with getting Jay's before with the one that was included in Ninjago City Gardens. That one just had a few additional details added, so this one's a little bit more screen accurate to what we see in the show. And if you really want, you can actually give him this little beanie here to make him accurate to Skybound, which is kind of cool. I mean, I guess you can pretty much do the same with Cole here as well with the hood piece. And then next up here, we have the Future Reflection Ninja. Now, I took a look at Lloyd and Cole in the last video. However, I also have Kai and Zane here. Kai's, I think, is easily the coolest. It's the most accurate to what we see in the show. The print detailing is basically perfect. He's again got that side arm printing and side leg printing, just absolutely gorgeous figure all around. And the same pretty much goes for Zane if it weren't for the fact that the hairpiece and face print weren't all kind of weird and uncanny. The hairpiece is just kind of the wrong color, and then the face print just looks off for some reason. I can't really explain exactly what's wrong with it. I think it just feels maybe a little bit smooth, if that's possible. Also, maybe the eyes are lacking a little bit of that metallic blue print. Going back to some UV printed minifigures, we've got these two from Ninjago prints. We've got this Kabuki Mask figure, which is unfortunately kind of outdated now because, well, we just got the new one in Old Town. Originally, this custom did come with this cape, however, I stole it off of this one to give to the official one just cause. The mask was printed on a fully white head. So I guess unlike the official one, it doesn't have like that weird yellow bit at the bottom where you can like actually see the neck. And to be honest, that is something I will say I prefer about the custom. But then the other figure I have here is Arrakore. And this is a really cool one to have, considering he's a pretty prominent character in Dragon's Rising that we still don't have a figure of. He uses this comma piece, which I'm actually pretty sure is like painted light blue, which is kind of crazy. This hairpiece as well is painted white because for whatever reason, we never got the hairpiece in white. I don't know why Lego hasn't done that yet. It feels like a piece we should have in this color, but we don't. But yeah, no, genuinely really cool figure. Honestly, it might be like one of the rarest customs I have, considering this was only like, I'm pretty sure it was like a Black Friday like pre-order thing. But yeah, no, generally really cool figure. Very happy to have him. And then we've got some more four-armed customs here, kind of going off of that Jin bandwagon here. We've got Natakon's father, Khanjikhan, and this is a really cleverly made figure, to be honest. It uses that Stone Warrior upper torso and kind of just flips it around and then prints the detailing that would be on the front just onto the back of the torso so that you can fit the beard over it. And now originally this guy came with a different beard piece, however I opted to replace it for the correct and more accurate version, which is just the Sensei Wu beard. He's also got this really cool unique hair piece. I think it was used like once on like a Star Wars set, so it's kind of cool that we got it in this color here for him. And unfortunately with this ghost tail piece, it is not dual molded like it typically would be if it were a Lego piece. This orange you see at the front here is kind of just printed or painted on, which to be honest still kind of works. But yeah, no, generally really cool figure, and it's cool that customs can give us a little bit more Ninjago characters, because we do not have a lot of them. And then next up here we have Oni Lloyd and Garmadon. Now this version of Oni Lloyd is a little bit more accurate to what we see in the show, at least to the extent that this one has 4 arms. I've got the original figure here. As you can see, he has 2 more arms. He's also got purple eyes this time around, although they do have a variant with the green eyes as well. I believe the figure originally came with like a gold like samurai helmet like he does in the sets. However, I instead opted to give him a third-party gold helmet. I also replaced the face print underneath because he actually comes with a unique facial expression, and that is something we'll have to take a look at later, because not only do we have a bunch of custom figures, but there's also people out there making custom printed facial expressions for the ninja and several other characters. And then we've got 2 Oni Garmadons here, and now this first one is actually mostly made with official Lego parts. And well, I say mostly, but no, it's 100% official Lego parts. The only custom part about this is actually the upper torso here. This is a UV print, I believe, from Ninjago prints. Once again, they're my goats. So this version I've got here is pretty much as close as you can get to a 100% official sort of custom Oni Garmadon while also being screen accurate. And then this version here is completely third-party parts. However, I think the coolest part about this is probably that same upper torso piece, because even though it is third-party parts, it is pad printed, which I do much prefer to UV printing. So it actually allows the print to kind of shine and be a little bit more metallic than that UV print. And to be honest, I was kind of going to replace that upper torso with this one, but honestly, I'm just kind of thinking I keep them separate. I don't know. I don't want to let that UV one go to waste, so I'm thinking we just keep it on that for now. And then next up here, we have some of the last bits of third-party figures that I've got here. We've got this young Morro who has that sand green ninja outfit, which is kind of cool. The face print is a little bit scuffed. I think it's printed a little bit too low. That kind of goes for both expressions. It just looks a little bit off. We've also got this casual Harumi, kind of outdated now that we got one with City Workshops. However, I will give this one credit for actually giving the figure leg printing, which the original does not have. And then next up we have another apartment Garmadon. The first one we took a look at here was UV printed printed, and while this one is third-party parts, it is pad printed. So it just looks and feels a little bit more official. We also just get a cleaner looking face print as well as a second alternate face print. And then we have a Lloyd DX. Now this is already an existing figure that LEGO has made. In fact, it is a non-canon figure that LEGO has made. However, he is infamously expensive, like way more than he should be. So I mean, it's only natural that people make customs of such an expensive figure like him, and this one isn't half bad. Originally he had like the actual like proper armor piece and the hood piece. However, I opted to swap that out for this third-party custom classic ninja hood in green, and it works all right. It's a little bit of a loose fit, so it kind of comes off a little bit too easily. The face print is also not the correct one that we get with the actual Lloyd DX figure. And honestly, the only reason I think I really got this was just to see if this was like any good compared to the official version. And to be honest, it kind of is. If you swap out the headpiece and then the actual like hood with like some official parts, it probably would be fairly like suitable. But otherwise, if you're like me and already, you know, have this guy somehow, then there's not really much point in having this as a custom. However, if you don't, this honestly isn't half bad as just a substitute. If I didn't have the official version of this guy, I would 100% just go in on a custom, to be honest. Because dude, ain't no way I am paying $1,000 for a LEGO Ninjago minifigure. That is absurd and stupid and dumb, and if you do that, you are stupid and dumb. Which is exactly why I have this custom NRG Ryu. Similarly, this guy is infamously expensive for some reason, being exclusive to Comic-Con or something stupid like that. So I pretty much just have this guy as a substitute because I ain't paying $5,000 for one of these. The only way I will even pay close to that amount for this guy is if we hit 1 million subscribers by the end of the year. Guys, this is your cue to like and subscribe. If you're liking this at all. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, I got this from Little Bear, same seller who had the Administration J. However, he also happened to sell probably one of my favorite customs that I have currently, and that is this pad printed Mr. F from Ninjago Crystalized. Honestly, such a shame we never got him as an official figure. Honestly, Crystalized had a lot of like cool character designs that we just never got in minifigure form, like Mr. F here, and then also the Kabuki Mask Harumi, which we thankfully did get eventually, but we still also got like some of the side characters. We got freaking the new ninja, a proper fugitive Lloyd without the bandages. I seriously, I don't know why they made that figure like that, but yeah, no, this figure is honestly pretty cool. It has a unique, I believe 3D printed helmet, and while it looks cool, I will say it does fit a little bit loosely, unfortunately. I did get one of the first runs of this guy though. I think they did end up selling another run of these guys at some point with, I think, a better grip on the helmet. From what I remember, at least. I could be misremembering. But funnily enough, he actually does get 2 facial expressions printed on this gunmetal gray minifigure head. He's got one with like super angry eyes, and then he has one that's a little bit more neutral. Not that you can really tell the difference between the two when he has the mask on. I think the only thing I really need now is just like an actual accurate Asphera pre-Crystal Council, so I could just have all of these guys lined up together. And now that pretty much covers all of the complete custom figures. However, that's not every single custom item that I own, or at least most of them. Because as I mentioned earlier, sellers are not only producing full custom figures, we're also getting a few custom minifigure parts. And that can include basically anything from torsos to legs to face prints, and even armor pieces and other accessories. And I suppose we'll start off with these 3 here. Now, funnily enough, all of these have some sort of different custom part. Cinder here has custom printed legs, Jay or Rogue has a custom printed head, and Roz here has a custom printed torso and arms. It's It's a little bit hard to see with Jay here, but the the custom head that he has his just goggles printed onto a black head, sort of emulating that look he had before he revealed his identity in Dragon's Rising Season 3. But yeah, no, all of these custom elements use official Lego parts, just with custom UV printing slapped on top of them. And this works pretty well for most of them, to be honest. Cinder, for example, his legs, I think these honestly work really well. I can barely even tell they're like UV printed unless I like look not even look super closely like I am right now. I mean, I guess if you look super closely, you can kind of tell they're UV printed, but like otherwise, just from afar, it just seems like standard legs that he's got. And it does kind of suck we never got like this version of the leg part officially, but you know, that's what customs are for. But then Roz here, honestly, I'm kind of most disappointed we didn't get officially, considering he's been literally in this exact same design for like over a season, which is insane. He was literally in it for the entirety of the second half of season 2, the entirety of season 3 part 1, and then half of season 3 part 2. So yeah, honestly, the fact that we don't have this torso print for him is kind of insane, and that makes it really cool that we actually do at least have a custom alternative for that at least. Unfortunately with this, some of the UV printing is a little bit more noticeable. The transition from the belt on the torso into the legs, you can see it's just a little bit off colored. It's a little bit darker than it should be on the torso. Otherwise though, I'm really impressed with how this turned out. He's even got like the arm printing as well, which is really cool. And then here we have the official figure of the Golden Master Overlord from season 3. He has the exclusive expensive armor piece and dress piece. However, in the show, he also was known to have legs. Believe it or not. And I believe the actual set he comes in just gives him a pair of blank black legs, which works, but it isn't exactly accurate to the show, which is where this comes in. This, I believe, was purchased directly from Guwang through Superbuy, but that's how he looks with that leg piece. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite have the same metallic shine as the torso, so that will be a little bit noticeable, but otherwise, really cool way to customize the season 3 Overlord here. And honestly, if we go ahead and take this cape piece that we took a look at in the last video, I'm curious if this will work, because I know this was made mostly for the dress piece. Oh my god, we basically have a much cheaper way to get a like full-on Overlord figure here. These legs are pad printed, by the way, on official Lego parts. I believe the legs still did cost like a bit since it was official Lego parts. It might have been like a few bucks, but still much cheaper than the $20 dress piece. But yeah, since the torso, head, and helmet aren't even that expensive, this is honestly a pretty affordable combo you can make. So honestly, just really cool that there's a cheap alternative to sort of complete this guy, while also making him a little bit more show accurate. And then next up, we have two sort of weird customs. They're not exactly minifigures, but they are figures. Ba-bam. We got my boy Gorge, as well as this Cragling. Now, I suppose these can also be considered purist customs since they use completely official Lego parts. And these were both designed by two different people. This one was built using video instructions from someone known as Ninja's, wait, let me pull up the notes. They've got a long name. Aaron's Ninja Off-Road Buggy Car Studios. I will have to leave a link to the video in the description because this is honestly quite a really cool build. And then the Cragling was made by the one and only Sakota. I'll have to leave a link to the tweet that he made with the, I think, the stud.io file. Gorge is kind of made in like the style of a Big Fig, but doesn't actually really use any Big Fig parts except for the arms and the hands. Otherwise, he's built up using just standard Lego elements, and there's just generally some really nice parts usage all around. And then the Cragling here has a really cool build. Not only can you kind of like pose him, kind of sit him down a little bit, angle his feet a bit, you know, move his arms and hands around, you can pose nose, the fingers. But I think one of my favorite parts is the fact that you can position the eyebrows on this guy. You can kind of make him angry like that, or you can kind of make him just sort of neutral. You can kind of make him suspicious. Can make him look worried. There's just so much expression you can get out of this guy. I love him. I love him so much. But yeah, no, he did such a great job just kind of doing all the rock detailing as well. I know these are like kind of more so like mocks as opposed to like custom minifigures, but you know, I kind of have them grouped with the others. I figured I might as well include them because I mean, like we're never getting these guys from Lego. Let's be real. Like, come on. When was the last time we got a Ninjago big fig? It was Kilo. We're not getting anyone like him again. I don't see it happening. But the fun doesn't end there because we've got, surprise, surprise, more face prints. I believe these three here were from Super Brick Figs. We've got a Harumi, a Evil J, and Wyldfyre alternate expression. And each of these do have a second expression as well, which is pretty cool. And this is what those first three face prints look like applied to their proper figures. It's really cool that we got a happy Wyldfyre expression, because at the moment we literally only have one singular expression, which is just her being angry. Again, on top of needing a new Wyldfyre outfit, we really need some new face prints for her because she is a very goofy character in the show, and just some face prints to, you know, showcase that would be kind of nice. She's not just angry all of the time, you know? And then Shatterspin Evil J here is really cool as well. This one I'm showing here is just kind of like a face just pulled straight out of the show, and it looks so good. The other face here is a little bit of a weird one. Again, just Jay with the red eyes is just generally really cool. Honestly, just the evil ninja in general are really cool. And then we've got a Harumi face print with the purple eyes. However, the alternate expression gives us one with just her regular black eyes, and it's meant to be, I'm pretty sure, mimicking the it's okay, she's with us face. In fact, actually, hang on a second. Let me just oh yeah, look at that. It's okay, guys, she's with us. These two are printed on third-party minifigure heads, so not official Lego. You can see with Lloyd's here, his does look a little bit off, especially if you remove the hair here. You can see it does look like it's printed a little bit too low, but still a pretty cool expression to have for him if I ever wanted to use it for like a photo or something. But then even cooler, we've got that pretty much that same expression, but with purple eyes to kind of showcase that he's unlocking sort of his Oni form to be used for 20 seconds. And this Oni Lloyd face was actually the one that was included with this four-armed version, the third-party one from EM Minifigs. And while this Evil J face is also a third-party minifig, I actually did not get this from EM Minifigs. I actually got this from Guwang, again using Super Buy. It feels ripped straight out of the show while also feeling like it fits in the minifigure style, or at least the first one does. This one does feel a little bit, it kind of taps into that uncanny valley, but it still looks pretty good. And both of these figures actually with the hood on look pretty cool as well. Although I think the alternate expression on the second face print for this guy does feel like it's printed a little bit low. Or not low, it feels like it's printed a little bit too high. Oh, see, that looks really cool with the mask on. That is sick. And now to finish things off, we've got a bunch of custom weapons and accessories and armor pieces here. Now, I did get those custom golden weapons in the last video, however, those ones were in pearl gold. These ones here are the much shinier, like metallic gold, which are a little bit more accurate to what we see in the show. In fact, these ones actually have a little bit of paint or print detailing on some of them to make them even more screen accurate, which is honestly pretty cool. And similar to some of the other customs we've taken a look at in this video, I did not know this at the time, but apparently these also seem to have been stolen designs as well. I believe from Ninjago, I want to say. They specialize in making a ton of custom Ninjago accessories, like the golden weapons you see here, like we saw in the last video, as well as a lot of those accessories we saw in the last video. I believe the Season 11 weapons, the Mega Weapon, the Overlord Cape, which we also saw in this video as well, I guess. Most of those, I believe, were originally designed by them. So again, a little bit unfortunate that the designs were seemingly stolen without consent, I'd imagine. Again, I don't know, the specifics of it, so just seems likely. So once again, if you guys do want to support the actual creator of these accessories, of these weapons, definitely go check them out. I'll have them linked in the description. But yeah, no, these are really, really cool. I think especially paired with the DX suits, they have so much aura. I don't know what else to say. They look so good. We've also got these 3D printed Shurikens of Ice that I have here on Mr. F and the Mechanic. These were made once again by Ninjago prints. I believe they also made some customs of some of the other crystallized golden weapons. I believe the Shurikens, however, interested me the most, so I picked those ones up. Yeah, no, definitely a much better, more accurate representation of the crystallized golden weapons, more so than they tried to do in the sets with the singular blade piece. Cool idea. I get they're trying to be versatile, but it does not work for the Shurikens at all. We've also got this random blue revealing blade. I know these are available on EM minifigs, however, I got mine as a little freebie with Administration J, so yeah, thank you, Little Bear, for that. We also have this extra Anacondrai armor in this very shiny gold color. I got this as a little spare with Arcturus. I'm opting for the one with the red printing though, since that's more accurate, so I don't know. I don't really need this, but you know, cool to have, just in case I want it for something, I guess. Along with those golden weapons, we also have the Golden Master armor, and this once again falls in that same category of just stolen designs, which is again unfortunate. Again, the metallic gold definitely adds a lot in making it more show accurate. And then we've got this 3D printed Staff of Elements. I believe I got this indirectly from Guwang through, again, super buy. It's essentially just kind of like a prototype looking part. It doesn't have any of the detailing, any of the color. It's just a plain white 3D print. And then we've got Roby with the Element Cup from Tournament of the Sources. Unfortunately, mine has broken since I got it. Originally, I believe this was like a little freebie with all of the other Tournament of Sources Elemental Masters when purchased directly from Guwang through Superbuy or wherever. So probably not getting this fixed anytime soon unless I'm like super careful with super glue. But yeah, no, similar to the Chen staff, it's just made in like a singular color. Doesn't really have any detailing aside from like, you know, the molded details. Really cool, but it actually was able to fit one of these red diamond pieces, which you can remove and put back very easily, which is again really cool. Just sucks that the handle on mine broke. And then lastly here we have an unhooded Morro with the allied armor. Now I actually tried to take a look at this guy last time, however it didn't really go that well. You can see in some of the B-roll that it just didn't look quite right with like the armor pieces that I had gotten. Again, I purchased that from EM minifigs. However, with one of my more recent orders directly from Guwang, who I believe was the original creator of this, they actually included a couple of additional 3D printed elements. And these two elements actually make this whole thing work. You can see he doesn't have a long neck anymore. Genuinely, I don't know what was even like the point of these two parts. They really didn't do anything. But yeah, no, if I remove like the head and hair here, you can see this was the original allied armor that we saw in the last video. It's just kind of the part that goes at the bottom. And what I was trying to do was put this armor piece on, because I only got these three parts, and that resulted in the neck looking really, really tall for some reason. It just wasn't quite right. And I realized that's because these don't even go together. In fact, these two parts are completely useless. I don't even know why they're included. And the version that I got from Guwang included these two parts. And wouldn't you know it, these fit perfectly with this allied armor piece. You can kind of just like slide that on and it meshes perfectly with the armor piece there. You can fit this just right on top. It kind of just sits on top there until you place the head to lock it in, and then you just kind of use that hair piece to kind of lock it all down, and bam, easily fixed. So yeah, for whatever reason, the one I got from EM Minifigs just didn't include that, I guess, which is unfortunate because those are like the most important parts to actually make this work. And if you really wanted to, you can actually just remove these two armor pieces, and you can just kind of have Morro unmasked here without the allied armor. So he looks a little bit something like that. Again, much better now that he doesn't have a freakishly tall neck. And actually, wait, I forgot, you can also have him with the allied armor And then also the hood piece as well. Oh yeah, there we go. That's how that looks. And that looks really good. All right, but I think that pretty much wraps up everything. Every single custom Ninjago minifigure I own, minus the ones we already took a look at in the last video. If you made it this far into the video, comment, I don't know, Dareth. Comment Dareth if you made it this far into the video. And if you have made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. Again, I don't know how long this video is going to turn out. It's hopefully not terribly long, but also maybe hopefully, I don't know. Again, if you guys are interested in purchasing any of the custom figures you've seen here, you know, apart from the purest ones that I made myself, definitely go check out all of these sites and creators that I've linked in the description. I'm hoping I got everybody. Again, I know a lot of the stuff from EM Minifigs might have been like stolen designs. I'll try to link as many of the original creators as possible because they deserve it. They made some pretty cool items, and I do want to make sure they at least get the credit they deserve. But anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and keep building.